I have been super busy over the last couple of weeks designing and making new stuff to go with my custom keepers that are in my Etsy shop. And I'm super excited that we're finally to this point, because this is like, I've been looking forward to this for months and months and months. We have inserts now. Okay, of course we have our tool holder inserts. Those are still around, made from vinyl. I knew I wanted pockets and I wanted bound book or notebooks to go in the custom keepers, and I tried making both out of vinyl in several different ways. I didn't like it. I was really surprised to find that I didn't like it. The pockets I made out of vinyl, they were fine. They were pockets, they were vinyl. I didn't like them. So I went with something that I knew that I would love, and it is that paper, SuedeTex paper. Now, let me tell you about SuedeTex.
She had to go into the house because she wasn't prepared.
Now here's some scraps of SuedeTex, and it is a not very heavy. In fact, it's probably not as heavy as good 140-pound watercolor paper, but still, it's pretty heavy. It's very fibrous. It has a bit of a texture, but it doesn't prohibit writing. You can still write on it. The thing that I love really about SuedeTex, especially when pairing it with my fused vinyl, is that it doesn't tear. Our fused vinyl.
God.
Sorry. Boy, Jason gets a little sensitive early in the mornings, huh? You can see, I mean, you can, narf up the edges. Actually, you can just iron those smooth again. But it does not tear. It reminds me of Tyvek like that, but it's not plasticky like Tyvek. It's paper. It's very fibrous and paper. It's not plasticky at all, but it does not tear. Okay. Water. Dip it in the water. I'm just going to mush it down in there. This is not like meant for watercolor. It wasn't designed for watercolor. So it does, when you watercolor on it, they will kind of seep through to the back side, which for me I think is kind of awesome, because you do two sides at once. If you're like an actual watercolor artist, that might not work for you. But for using watercolor in a mixed media way, this paper is awesome. You can see I've just kind of soaked this in the water. How about I do something smart and move these out of the way? Look, woo, look at me all being smart and thinking ahead, sorta. Okay. Now, pull this out. Wad it up like it was trash. And it is not going to tear. It's not going to pill. It doesn't fall apart. It will wrinkle, which you can, of course, smooth out with your heat gun and a little effort if you want to. My point is, this is indestructible, and it will hold tons of water without falling apart. This is so cool, and it's called SuedeTex because it has sort of it's like a piece of suede, especially after you wet it. It feels a little bit like suede, like, leather suede. But it's paper. This is like the coolest paper ever. So I knew that this is the paper that I want to use for my inserts, because custom keepers are pretty much indestructible. There should be a paper to go with it that is also pretty much indestructible, right? I don't know, it made sense to me. So this is the paper that you will find all of our inserts made out of, because apparently there was a mouse in my pocket when I was sewing each one of these things, but that's okay. Our inserts. I forgot what I was saying. Yeah, the pocket inserts are made out of these, and then the notebook inserts have these as their covers. So let's take a closer look at those. Can y'all hear all the cicadas? I went out there and tried to shush them, but it didn't work. So what was that one video? We had frogs. Yeah, that must have been in the spring. And now here it is, you know, midsummer, we've got cicadas. So I'm outside in my studio garage. Studio garage, I love saying that. I'll have to do it.
This is why your videos are 3 hours long. You can't stay on the topic.
Okay.
Focus.
All right. Inserts. Pockets. Now for now, I'm limited on sizes because I have to order some larger paper to do the larger sizes. So right now I've got the smaller sizes. They're in stock in the shop. I've got the A7 mini notebooks. All of the notebooks have 20 pages, and I like that because it seems to be a magic number for me. You know, journaling by fives, the 20 pages, you know, here you go. Here's your little journaling by fives notebook. And I don't know what it is, but 20 pages is just kind of a magic number. I don't know. Anyway, they're 20 pages. This first round of inserts will have the SuedeTex covers and 20 pages of, this is a high quality text weight paper. So these are more for just writing notes. These are not lined, they're blank, you know, lines or grids or something that's, you know, we'll venture into that in the future. But for now, inserts are blank paper, but I just want to make sure that I use good quality paper. So this is the text weight, and it is a good quality, super smooth, bright white writing paper. These are stitched, machine stitched along the binding by me and my new machine. So have a little grace if your stitching's not perfect, because I'm still trying to perfect. And of course the inside, you know, it's typical poking through paper. It's just going to look like these big exit wounds. Not much I can do about that. But the point is they are securely stitched. So this is what your inserts will look like. And right now I've got the A7 mini. I've got the field note size. I've got juniors and the B6 sizes. So those are what's in stock for notebook inserts with text weight paper. And then for pockets, we've got the cute little A7 mini, and look, it holds an ATC perfectly. And this is another thing that I love about these pockets, because if they're made out of paper or even cardstock, you know, eventually they're going to start wearing at the edges from rubbing on the elastic, or if you stuff them full, they would tear. These are not going to tear. You can stuff these as full as you want. These are not going to tear. Okay?
Because it's SuedeTex!
Because it's SuedeTex. Oh yeah. Having him at home all day, every day is such a joy. So yeah, that is another thing that I really love about it. Because, I mean, quite honestly, we can all make our own pocket inserts out of, you know, cardstock. There's tons and tons of patterns out there. It doesn't take much. So I wanted to make sure that I had something that was different, and something that maybe you can't just go and make yourself. And this is it. This is, like I said, virtually indestructible. It will expand all you want it to without tearing, you know, getting funky. So I'm loving this paper, I guess, as you can tell. Anyway, these will hold ATC size pieces in the A7 mini. And then the field note. These are stitched along the bottom. This is one sheet of SuedeTex folded, and then one single stitch across the bottom. And the junior size right here. And this is the field note. No, not the field note. This was the field note. This is the regular traveler's notebook size. Yeah, I don't have the B6 or any of the larger ones in this yet because I had to order larger paper for that. So these are in the shop right now. Let's look at maybe how they look in use. Okay. Oh, I've also got these, y'all. Don't forget about these little notebooks. They have cardstock pages, and these are ATC size. I know it may not look like ATC size because they're wider to allow for the binding, but your area that you decorate, see, it's ATC size, so you can make you a little ATC book. And I thought that these would be great for like a round robin situation. So there's that. So these are fun. So these are still in the shop. These are very inexpensive too. I think they're like $5. So there is that option. And this is the one. Have I showed this before? This is just sounding awfully familiar to me. Maybe I've showed this before. I need to go back and check my other videos. I don't know. Anyway, this is one of the little ATC books that I colored with alcohol inks and sprinkled some bleach. And I love these. You know, I can go back and add little things on these or not, because this really is just a joy to look at, just like it is. All that color and cool pattern. It's very galaxy-ish. Accidentally galaxy-ish. So yeah, there's that. Okay. Also in the shop, I have these solid white custom keeper covers that we're just calling paintables. I mean, okay, all the custom keepers are paintable, right? But sometimes you really want a solid white surface to start with so that you don't have to mess with gesso or anything like that. This is what you need. And also sometimes if you want to collage a lot of stuff on it, do a lot of gluing, if you're starting with a heavy, thick custom keeper to begin with, it just gets thicker and heavier and can get kind of stiff. This was some vinyl that was sent to us by a vendor who really didn't pay attention to me when I told him what I needed. Because this is not even a billboard, but he sent tons of this white vinyl. And, you know, instead of going, oh, okay, got no use for that, and sticking it on a shelf, we decided to find a use for it. So this is what we came up with. They are thinner than normal custom keepers, so they're more flexible, which can be a good thing or a bad thing. It means that this situation can happen easier. This is normal, this pulling at the spine. Even your leather traveler's notebooks will do that if you stuff them full or pull your elastics too tight. It just happens. You know, this doesn't freak me out. Some people really, really hate this. But this thin vinyl can make it a little more prone to pulling. That's the bad side. The good side is that when you collage on it, you glue front and back. You know, it's gonna make it thicker and stiffer, but not so much that it's gonna be weird, because it's so thin to begin with. It's just kind of a perfect substrate for collage. So that's what the paintables are all about. And as you can see, this is the field note size, and this is what the pocket insert looks like. Oh, I should put a notebook insert in there, shouldn't I? Okay. Let's put a notebook insert in here. Oh, look. Ooh. This just makes me so happy. So notebook inserts, pocket inserts. You know, you got a couple elastics for folded sheets of paper and notes and whatever. So there you have it. And what else have I got over here? This one, oh yes, this is a traveler's notebook size paintable. And there's the pocket in action, and look at this. This is a pocket that I just kind of squished watercolors, not watercolors, but yeah, watercolors. You know, twinkling H2Os. I have a big thing of those. And I just kind of put them all over, inside and out. And then I went back with some of my Colorful Life Design stencils and some black acrylic paint and just kind of, you know, made it special. And then inside you can put little ephemeras, scraps of painted papers, notes, you know, whatever you want. But you can see that this held up very well. When you get it wet, sometimes it will, you know, if you soak it, it might buckle a little bit, but when it dries, it's completely flat. This is completely smooth. This paper is, I'm telling you, it's magic.
It's SuedeTex.
It's SuedeTex. It's magic. So, there's that. And, okay, so, you know, like we talked about, all custom keepers are paintable, but what makes these white ones so special is that you've already kind of got a blank surface, and this is very smooth. It does not have the texture that some of the custom keepers have. So it makes them a lot easier for some painting techniques, especially if you're like Vicki Brown, who does amazing things with paint pens and micron pens. I mean, her doodles are amazing. Look at that. And she's always, see, this one's pretty textured right here. This was a challenge for her to paint. And she's always asking me, do you have any smooth ones? Do you have any smooth ones? Well, now I have smooth ones. So there's options with paint pens. I think she uses a lot of Poscas on here. And no, these are not for sale, but I will put links to the artists down in the video description so that you can contact them if you want to commission a custom keeper cover for yourself. But yeah, if they choose to do that, you can contact them directly. And another example of a painted cover is this one from Peg Robinson. I believe she's used acrylics on here and either paint pen or gel pens on there. She's got some painty prints, papers, gel plate maybe stuff. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? We're going to put these in our show booth. We're going to do some craft shows, or try to anyway, this winter. And that's what these painted samples are going to be for display in our show booth. And then this one was actually fairly smooth to start with. This one was painted by Cindy Utter. This is the large scrapbook size. And she came across these canvas inserts that she had to modify a little bit to fit. But man, fit they did. Look what she does. So look at that. Thinking outside the box, you know, she found something that she knew would work with them. I just love this. Love, love, love. But she's got lots of, looks like maybe stenciling going on here, or some stamping. Hard to tell. It's just incredible. But there you go. There's some ideas for painting your custom keepers, painting and using. And I just, okay, let me show you my go-to one that I pull out all the time. And that is this one. And I did a video of the pockets that I made for it, because I needed something more than just a little pocket like this. I needed pockets. So I did them in a couple different ways. I'll put the link to that video up here. But this is where I like to store my painted papers and all kinds of decorated papers. I went to a workshop at Rosemary Morris's house over the weekend where we did some eco printing. Yeah, I put my papers in here so that I know exactly where they are. I can put ephemera, and I can put, you know, small sheets in the pockets or full sheets just in the elastics. And this is the composition size custom keeper. There's one that is one bigger than this, the A4 magazine size. That would work well too, but I really like this size for storing my painty papers. And I'm almost out because I sold a bunch of them recently. So I kind of need to restock my painty papers, huh? So anyway, that is an update on what is happening in the Etsy shop. I do have a video planned coming up pretty soon where I'm going to be doing some watercoloring on these, on the SuedeTex, and show you a kind of cool technique that you may not have seen before, or very often anyway. So that's coming up. Things are happening. Oh, by the way, be sure, if you haven't already, sign up for my newsletter and follow my Facebook page. You know, click the like thing. Make sure that you do that. Get notifications for my YouTube videos. Follow me on Instagram. All of that, because Jason is insisting that we have some flash sales coming up, you know, where you like give like a big fat discount, like maybe 35% off, but just today. You know, one of those things, just for today. And I may not promote it everywhere. I may choose to just promote it to my newsletter people, or just on Instagram. Because, you know, I like to mess with you that way. So make sure that you're following us, and we're going to be having some of those coming up soon, because that'll be fun. And I think that's all. You were right, honey. It's 23 minutes. Yeah, I told Jason that I just needed, you know, just 10 minutes. That's all I needed to film the video. And he's like, you couldn't make a 10-minute video to save your life. Well, apparently he was right. All right. That's all for today. Check the video description for links of whatever I've talked about. I'll have to figure that out in editing. That's it. The end.